Hey kiddos, here is your instruction video or your example video on how to do this assignment. Okay, this is the slope intercept form assignment for numbers 1 through 6. It's just asking you to determine the slope and the y-intercept of each linear equation. So all you are doing is determining the slope and the y-intercept. Let's look at number 1. Y equals negative 3x plus 9. Negative 3 is your slope because it replaces m. 9 is your y-intercept because it replaces b when it is written in slope-intercept form. That is all you're doing for numbers 1 through 6, okay? Notice that number 5 looks a little bit different. You have to make it look like y equals mx plus b before you get started, okay? And you know how to do that because we just solved equations. That is all you're doing with that one. Let's look at numbers 7 through 10. It says Bethany needs to hire a taxi service to take her to the bus station. The table shows the one-time fee and per mile rate for 2 taxi companies. Number 7 says write an equation to represent the total cost y for x miles traveled with each taxi company. Well, let me help you write the equation for each one. We need an equation for Cassie's and for the king of cabs. Okay? The equation that we need to make these look like are y equals mx plus b. Now, looking at these things, your fee for even getting into the cab will represent your B value, and your per mile rate. Per is one of our key words. That per mile rate will represent or replace the M in each one. Okay? So what you're going to do is plug them in. Now for Cassie's, y equals, what's the M for Cassie? 260 x plus, what's the B for Cassie? $3. For the king, y equals, what is the M for king of cabs? 135 x plus, what's the B for the king of cabs? 550. Done. That is how you pull those equations from that table. Now I want you to graph the 2 equations on the same coordinate plane. In order to graph these, you first need to have ordered pairs or points. So what we're going to do for that, we're going to come down here to the bottom and make 2 different tables so that we can even have points to graph, okay? We're going to have an x value and a y value, x and a y, okay? Your x values, look at the table, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to stop at 4 because that's where my paper stopped. Okay. Now, let's focus mainly on Cassie to start. Okay? Before you even go anywhere, just for calling Cassie and getting into her cab, that is your starting value. That is going to be B. That is what we put here. That is going to be the y-intercept. So just for getting into Cassie's cab, it's $3. Okay? Just for getting into her cab. Now, it's $2.60 per mile. So to go 1 mile with Cassie is that $3 plus $2.60. 3 plus $2.60 is $5.60. You need to keep adding $2.60 down this row for Cassie. To travel 2 miles with Cassie, $5.60 plus $2.60, $8.20. Okay, what if we went 3 miles with Cassie? $8.20 plus $2.60 is $10.80. What about 4 miles? Okay, $10.80 plus 260. We'll be looking at 1340. Okay. Now let's look at king of cabs. When traveling with king of cabs, just for calling him and getting into his cab is $5.50. That's before you even travel. That's at 0 miles. Okay. Then you travel 1 mile. It's $1.35 per mile. So we need to add $1.35 for each mile. So $5.50 here for traveling 1 mile. $6.85. If we travel 2 miles, $8.20. What about 3 miles? $9.55. What if we went 4 miles? I believe it is $10.90. Okay. Now, to plot the points, you can use 2 different colors. You can use pink for Cassie, blue for the king. But you would come here. For Cassie's cabs, $3 to start, so 0, 3. That's her first dot. For 1 mile, $5.60. 1 mile, $5.60. That's her second dot. And keep going and going and going. For the king of cabs, 0 miles, $5.50. There's his first dot. I'm sorry, that was 0 miles. 1 mile, go to the 1, $6.85. Go up. Boom, there's his 1 mile, and you keep going, okay? Number 9 says, for how many miles is the cost of both companies the same? Explain. You would go over here to your table, or you would go to your graph and figure out how many miles it takes for both companies to equal the same amount, okay? And for number 10, if Bethany needs to travel, if all she needs to travel is 7 miles, which company will cost her less? Justify your response. Well, what you could do is, we already know how to make a table now because we went 4 miles for each and we started a table for each one. So just keep taking this table to 7 to see what happens, okay? And on the back side, or for you, for your second page of this assignment, you will have to do the same thing that you did for numbers 1 through 6. All you're doing is finding the slope and the y-intercept for each word problem. But look what each word problem gives you. It gives you the equation for each word problem. So you're just pulling the slope and the y-intercept from each of those, okay? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please inbox me on Canvas or comment here on the assignment.